What's going on, everybody? King of Dragons 5000 here, coming at you with another figure review. Today we'll be having a look at the Mattel WWE Defining Moments, The Undertaker. So now here we have Undertaker in his box. You can see that there is some blue smoke billowing on the side here, which is really nice. For those of you who are not aware, this Undertaker is a reissue figure. If you don't know what that is, it's basically that he's reissued from a previous release. The last time we got a Ministry Undertaker was in 2010, I believe, and it was a San Diego Comic-Con exclusive. There are some slight differences. I don't have the Comic-Con figure, unfortunately, so this is a nice alternative to it. But on the side, we have a portrait of the Undertaker, and it's the same on both sides. Then we have the Undertaker's emblem there. And then we get a little read-up of the defining moments, or the attire that he's wearing. It is from March 29th, 1999. For months leading up to WrestleMania 15, a heated rivalry developed between The Undertaker and Mr. McMahon. Undertaker vowed to destroy McMahon and take over his corporation. So it was only appropriate that The Undertaker take on McMahon's head of security, Big Boss Man, in the most fitting of all matches, Hell in a Cell. Once these ultimate rivals were locked in the 20-foot-high roof cage, there was no escape. Early on, Boss Man handcuffed Undertaker to the cage and began striking him with his nightstick. But the Phenom broke free, performed a signature tombstone piledriver on the Boss Man, and pinned him for the victory. Not one of Undertaker's more memorable matches for the athleticism, but it was memorable because he did hang the Big Boss Man, which is conveniently left out of the bio. I'm pretty sure they don't want to include anything like that. But yeah, he hung Big Boss Man in that match. But anyway, really excited to have this figure in hand. So what I'm going to do now is take a little break, get him posed and out of the packaging, and we'll go on with the rest of his review. So sit tight, everyone. So here we have Undertaker posed and out of the packaging. Now let's get a good 360 of this guy. Really happy I have the Undertaker in hand. As you know, I have quite a few Undertakers in my collection, but this is actually one of my favorite Undertakers, and one I've actually been searching for quite a while. Like I said when reviewing his box, I said that he is a reissue, and that is true. He was originally a San Diego Comic-Con exclusive figure. To date, I think he's the only Comic-Con exclusive WWE figure Mattel has ever given us. Kind of glad about that, but at the same time, I wish we would get more. And of course, I'm just saying that because I'm now collecting them. But before we get on to his articulation and stuff, let's actually go on to some of his details, because that's where this figure really shines. And the feet on mine are really stiff, and it's giving me a hard time getting them to stand up without wanting to tip over to one side. Okay, that's good enough for right now. Now let's actually zoom in on the head sculpt, which is actually one of the better Mattel head sculpts for the Undertaker. This really does look like the Undertaker back in his Ministry days. One issue I do have with it, it's supposed to be from the WrestleMania 15 against Big Boss Man. His head was actually longer. It was actually to about right here. A little nitpick, and I'm not going to knock the figure for that because it's basically a reissue and they just gave us Ministry Undertaker. But I'm really excited about that. You can see he's sporting his shaven head on the sides. You know, I talk about having some wrestlers having their hair like mine, and this is probably the best way I can describe how my hair is. Like, it's shaven on both sides and long at the top, but I'm not going to bore you with semantics and my appearance because no one cares about that. But he is sporting that really awesome goatee, and during this time I think was when the Undertaker was most frightening to me as a child. Like, Ministry Undertaker scared me. He was crucifying people, hanging them. He had the Brood at his disposal. Like, just overall really scary character at this time. But going on to some of his detail, this is just the vest. It is not part of his torso sculpt, so if you're wondering, it is a vest. You can see the tabs are right here if you want to take it off, which we will in a little bit. but just showing you all this detail, the little rivets, the chains, the hooks on it. And yes, the detail does carry all the way to the back, to the buckles. You can see every belt buckle is painted, some better than others, but it is on the back, so you're not really going to see it that much. And let's actually show off. You can see the rivets underneath his hair. So really nice, really loving these really evil looking shoulder pads shoulder pads. He is sporting dark gray, I think would be the best color to say on his designs. And then his boots, really, really awesome boots. That's not really the Undertaker logo. I don't know what that is, but it looks cool. And you can see there's also some rivets. And once again, a lot of detailing in those boots. Really, really good detail on the boots. You can see all the buckles are painted, all the rivets are. A lot of the parts used for him are unique to this Undertaker. Like, you're not going to find this piece on another Undertaker. No other Undertaker is going to have this head or the boots. And even the gloves are different from any other Undertaker figure. At first I thought that the gloves were the same MMA style gloves that Undertaker sports, but pulling another Undertaker here, you can see they're actually retooled on both sides. That the extra padding on the Undertaker's hands are not there, so like I said, originally I thought that these were the standard Undertaker hands, but they're not, so I'm really glad that they did that they went the extra mile and actually replicated Undertaker's gloves from the time period. So enough about his detail for the moment, so we can zoom out. Like I said, the vest is removable. If you want to remove it, there's 2 tabs on both sides, which you just unpeg those and they come right off. Let's see if I can do this on camera so you guys can see what I'm talking about. The top buckle and the bottom buckle come untabbed, so you can get those off. And then what you're going to want to try to do, let's see if I can't do this on camera for you guys, is you're going to want to try to tuck his hair underneath the vest. It's a little difficult because his hair isn't the most pliable, but once you get it up and over, just get it over all the little parts of his hair and slide it out, and there you have his vest off. And like I said, a lot of nice detail, nothing on the inside because that's not important, but we go back to his attire, and as you can see, he is sporting this really nice attire. There is some paint here on mine, and I wish I could say I could take some acetone to get that off, but this does look like it's like a gunmetal, really dark gray, and it might rub off and turn black, and I really don't want that. No detail on the back, although once again, paint issues. That's probably the only main issue I have with this figure, is this flesh-colored paint that rubbed off onto the chest emblem and the back of his costume there. So that's Undertaker. He is rocking all his tattoos. Let's see if we can get that off, which are accurate to the time. He doesn't have his neck tattoo that I'm aware of. Doesn't look like he has the back of his neck tattoo either. Like I said, his hair's not really all that pliable, like maybe the tips are the most pliable, but other than that, not much movement from his hair, so be aware that his hair is kind of rigid. Moving him to the back so we can go on to his articulation. There we go. Undertaker is sporting the standard elite articulation. He has a bulge in his head. He can look up slightly, down pretty well, move left and right. Hindered a little by his hair, but actually when you get his head to this point, the only thing that hinders movement is his goatee. His goatee is not pliable whatsoever. So be aware of that. Don't be forcing it because you're probably going to break his goatee off. but head does bobble left and right, full range of movement, utilizing that ball joint. Arms go out, do a full 360. He spins at the bicep, single jointed in the elbow, spins and bends at the wrist. He has an ab crunch, which works really well. Waist swivel, legs go forward, back, and out. Kind of stiff on mine. He does have a thigh swivel on both legs, double jointed in the knees, has a boot swivel, ankle hinge, which, like I said, it's really stiff on mine, and it's really making it hard for him to stand, and has a rocker ankle, so you can get him in a lot of poses that you need him to. All his moves from the time period you'll be able to get him into. But anyway, that's Undertaker for you. So what I'm going to do now is take a little break, get him posed up, and we'll move on to my final thoughts. So sit tight, everyone. So here we have the Undertaker pose from my final thoughts. Overall, just a really fantastic figure. Now, do I recommend this figure? Well, that is entirely your preference. If you have been collecting the line since 2010 and you were able to get hold of the San Diego Comic-Con Undertaker, it's essentially the same figure minus a couple of paint applications that are different. The San Diego Comic-Con Undertaker has whited out eyes, and some of the paint on like his boots is brighter. I'm trying to remember if the designs on his tights are like more blue than they are gray. They're still dark, but I'm thinking that his are darker than the original release. If you're like me, you're going to pick this Undertaker up because you're a fan of The Undertaker. And yes, I am a huge mark for Undertaker Elite figures. When they come out, I just seem to want to have them in my collection. When it comes to the San Diego Comic-Con Undertaker, if you were like me and you missed out on it, this is actually a good alternative to the San Diego Comic-Con Undertaker. Personally, I think the head sculpt on him looks better, mainly because you can see his eyes. I think the whited out eyes were pretty good for the gimmick, but overall I think I prefer the Undertaker with his pupils and iris actually painted in. Now, the box on the San Diego Comic-Con one was better. This one had the Defining Moments box. If you're a mint on card collector, the Comic-Con Undertaker is for you. Just be aware that it is a pricey figure now. The Defining Moments Undertaker is running you about $25 at your local retail, being Walmart, Kmart, Target, all those places that carry the Defining Moments line. If you are able to find this figure and you do not have the Comic-Con Undertaker, I say pick this guy up. You're going to want him in your collection one way or another. The cape is just phenomenal. Yeah, it is a little light. You can see my hand is actually behind it. But once you get him posed in any way you want him, you're going to want to have him like that. And like I said, I'm a huge Undertaker fan. Really glad I was able to pick him up. Like I said, I picked mine up for $24.99. That's what the Defining Moments line is running you essentially. If you can find Undertaker, do not pass on him. He's a really nice figure, great sculpt, a lot of unique parts to him actually, which is another good thing about him. You actually feel like you're getting what you pay for this figure. With that being said, thank you for watching my video, guys. Don't forget to leave a comment, like this video, subscribe to my channel, check out all my other wrestling reviews, my other figure reviews, and I'm King Dragons 5000, and I'll see you guys later. Take care, everyone.